appears that the tide has turned in favor of Tennessee. The Vols have the nation's longest unbeaten streak at 12 games and are riding high on confidence after thrashing Florida last week in Gainesville 45-3. So sure, Bama may have continued its dominance last season, but this year's Tennessee team features a well-balanced attack.
I think probably the difference in Tennessee this year and last year is that they're playing better defense.
These guys, they've grown up in a little bunch of men over there, and they hit hard, and they're strong, equipped, everything. They're just very great defense.
Tennessee seniors have never beaten Alabama. Looks like that tide will be turned today. Danny, let's talk about
some incentive for the Vols. They've lost 4 straight to Bama, but after destroying Florida, they are closing in on the Sugar Bowl, and no one, not even Miami, is at a better record in the last 23 games than Tennessee. The 2 ties, of course, the only blemishes on this year's record, and the 1 loss was to Alabama at Legion Field. It was 47-30 last year. Gary Hollingsworth threw for almost 400 yards. Lee, it seems very unlikely we're going to see that thing duplicated again today.
Well, let me tell you something, Chris. I've watched Tennessee practice, and I've seen them. They look like a bunch of men to me. Tennessee's got speed. They got power. They now got depth. They recruited 6 junior college football players to supplement their team. 3 of them are All-Americans. Alabama plays with a full heart, but it's not enough to beat that Tennessee team.
You said it was men against boys, and they love you down at Bama for it. More on the Irish and the Hurricanes.
Labor Day in Dixie football. Every year since 1928, the 3rd Saturday in October has meant the Crimson Tide versus the Big Orange. Tennessee prevailed in 28, their first meeting in 14 years. It was Gene McKeever's kickoff return that put Bob Nealon's Vol program on the map. 11 years later, the legendary run by Tennessee's Johnny Butler, 56 unforgettable yards of broken tackles, helped break Bama hearts in a 21-0 humiliation. Tennessee won 7 of 10 in the 50s. The Bears teams had a slight edge in the 60s. In 65, Bama was in position for a winning field goal when Ken Stabler fired the ball out of bounds to stop the clock, not realizing it was 4th down. After the 7-7 tie, Bryant kicked in the locker room door. Another tie in 1968 was the first college game on artificial turf. In 82, the Tide were a 2-touchdown favorite, riding an 11-game win streak against the Vols. But Willie Galt's touchdown catch sparked a wild 35-28 Tennessee triumph. Johnny Major's one and only win against the Bears.
Of Alabama roll into Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee for the annual meeting with the Volunteers on the 3rd Saturday of October. And a Tennessee tradition, the Parade of Balls. The unbeaten Volunteers have a bounce in their step as they arrive, but the walk out of the stadium has been a long one for Tennessee the last 4 3rd Saturdays of October. This year, as in every year since 1928, the 3rd Saturday in October has been reserved for a special occasion, Alabama versus Tennessee. The tradition began with a 98-yard touchdown by Tennessee's Gene McKeever on the opening kickoff in 1928. In 1939, Tennessee's Johnny Butler rambled an unforgettable 56 yards against Bama. And in 1956, Johnny Majors led the Vols past the Crimson Tide. Now Majors coaches against the Tide, and his team is ranked 3rd in the nation despite losing Chuck Webb to injury. Tony Thompson has burst into the spotlight with more than 100 yards a game as Webb's replacement. The Vols are confident they can remain unbeaten. Alabama was a dominant team under the legendary Bear Bryant, but following the Bears left successors like Gene Stallings hot under the collar. The loss of top running back Saran Stacy to injury has hurt the Tide. But getting battered and bruised by Southern Miss, Florida, and Georgia agonized Tide players and left Bama searching for answers after an 0-3 start. Quarterback Gary Hollingsworth has the Tide headed in the right direction with 2 straight wins, and the Tide is ready to roll. Crimson Tide. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Coach Mike Gottfried. We're delighted to have you with us on ESPN for the 73rd renewal of one of the great rivalries in all of college football, Alabama and Tennessee. They always meet on the 3rd Saturday in October. They've been playing since 1901. This year, Tennessee is playing in the national championship picture, Mike, at 4-0-2.
Sean, I still think they have a shot for the national championship. It's an outside shot. Offensively, they're a big play offensive football team. They have an outstanding array of receivers that you're going to see today. The offensive line could be the best offensive line in the country. Defensively, for Tennessee, they've now installed a 4-3 defense by Larry Lacewell. He came over from Arkansas State. You see the 4-3 here. The 4-down lineman will continually try to get up the field. The middle linebacker is the player to watch today. I expect him to make a lot of plays in the I formation against Alabama. They run a 2-deep secondary. They're very good on defense, and the defense has changed this team around.
Tennessee an 11-point favorite here this afternoon. They have lost the last 4 meetings against Alabama. The Crimson Tide struggling throughout this season. They are 2-3. They've been decimated by some key injuries, but still the team that is capable of pulling off an upset.
Well, they are capable. They're going to have a real challenge today. The one thing they don't want to happen in their offensive football team today is getting third and longs and second and long situations. They have to mix it up on first down. They've got to throw the ball on first down. On defense, they must stop Tennessee from getting any big plays. I look at it like a heavyweight fight. It's a 15-round fight. Alabama has to figure a way to stay around for the 15th round and then have a shot to win. You can see the 1990s fourth quarter woes. They've been outscored badly by the opponents, so they must do a better job in fourth quarter.
They've had troubles in the fourth quarter because of a lack of depth. As always in football, the quarterbacks will be a key, and our expert as far as quarterbacking is concerned is on the sideline today, Neil Lomax. Neil?
All right, guys, tonight we'll feature two of the best quarterbacks in the SEC for Tennessee, Andy Kelly, who I feel has the better supporting cast to make him a better quarterback. Now, Gary Hollingsworth for the Alabama Crimson Tide has got to have the kind of game he had last year. 32 completions for over 379 yards and 3 TDs. He's got to have that kind of day in order for Alabama to win this football game. Sean and Mike?
Here come the Volunteers of Tennessee, led by veteran head coach Johnny Majors. Tennessee is brought to you by the Mirage Hotel Casino in Las Vegas. By the Principal Financial Group, financial products that give you an edge. And by Mobile, Mobile One synthetic motor oil. Isn't your car worth the extra protection? Alabama takes the field and we'll have the opening kickoff from Knoxville, Tennessee, right after this. Sold out for the 73rd meeting all-time between Alabama and Tennessee. Alabama leads this long series, which dates back to 1901, 38-27 and 7, and Alabama has won the last 4, including last year's game in Birmingham. The final was 47-30 in favor of the Crimson Tide. On the left, first-year head coach Gene Stallings of Alabama. On the right, Tennessee's Johnny Majors, now in his 14th season as head man here in Knoxville. Alabama won the toss and deferred its decision until the second half. Tennessee elected to receive. Going back deep for Tennessee, number 18, Dale Carter. He returned the second half kickoff last week against Florida. 91 yards for a touchdown.
They're an outstanding special teams team. They will run back kicks. They do an excellent job. They spend most of their Thursday practice on returns. So look for Tennessee to be a very good team in special areas.
Philip Doyle will kick off for Alabama. A line drive kick. Carter from the 2. Lost the football. Alabama recovers at the 28-yard line. First and 10, Alabama at the 28 of Tennessee. Robert Jones can't turn the corner. He's out of bounds at the 30 for a loss of 2. The Sears die-hard starting lineup for Alabama on offense. Let's second and 12 for Bama. Barrett Lassett. Down to the 23. Darryl Hardy made the tackle for Tennessee. The Tennessee defense this afternoon. Out of the 4-3, the ends Chris Mims and Chuck Smith. The tackles Mark Moore and Kerry Bailey. The middle linebacker is Sean Walker. The outside backer is Hardy, who just made the tackle, and Ernest Fields. The corners Lincoln and Miley. And the safeties Mark Fletcher and Dale Carter, who had that great performance last week against Florida. But started today with the fumble of the opening kickoff.
And this might be where they go to the all curl at the sticks right here, where all the receivers were hooked right around the sticks.
Shovel pass to the tight end Buskey. He's hit at the 19-yard line, a yard short of the first down.
Darryl Hardy, number 87, move with the flow. He doesn't overrun it. He's sitting in good position to make the tackle right there. He didn't take off with the fake of the quarterback rolling out. He sat in the hole and waited on the play.
Gene Stallings got the big early break, but he will not gamble on 4th and 1. Philip Doyle, one of the best place kickers in the nation. He's only missed one field goal this year, and you can make it two. First miss from inside 50 yards this year for Philip Doyle, and the Volunteers dodged the bullet. No score, and will return to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Defensively, that's what you want to do, Tennessee. They took the ball over in your territory and hold them from getting a score.
Andy Kelly on the first play for the Volunteers tossed it back to Tony Thompson. He didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. The offense for the Volunteers, led by Andy Kelly, a junior. The backs, Tony Thompson, and the fullback, Roland Poles. Great wide receivers for the Volunteers. The starters are Morgan and Harper. The tight end is Vaughn Reeves. He'll alternate with Mark Adams. John Fisher, the center of a great offensive line. Myslinski and Baird, the guards. McCray and Davis, both of whom are possible first-round draft picks in the NFL, are the tackles. Thompson again, out to the 22, and that's all. 3rd down and 8 upcoming for Tennessee. The Crimson Tide defenders, the ends, George, 3rd and 8. They played 3 minutes in the first quarter, no score. Kelly, much too high, he threw it away, as Alvin Harper was well covered along the far sideline, and Tennessee goes 3 plays in front.
When you look at Alabama, they've started every ball game very strong. They've really come out of the chute well, and they have in this particular ball game, except for the missed field goal. They've held Tennessee. They get the break on the kicking game. Now they get a chance to go back on offense to see if they can open it up a little bit.
Joey Chapman, redshirt freshman punter. Short kick under a rush. Chris Anderson. Flag down. He's down at the 42. Jimmy Harper leads our SEC officiating crew this afternoon.
Doing the run back, clipping on the receiving team, doing the run back, will be first down, 1st and 10.
Alabama back on offense in a scoreless first quarter. Of college football, Alabama versus Tennessee, is brought to you by Jeep and Eagle, a division of Chrysler Corporation, and by Compaq Computers, high-performance compact personal computers. Compact, it simply works better. Just a few hundred yards from Neyland Stadium, the Tennessee River, and many Volunteer fans arrive by boat. No score, with 11:47 left in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for Alabama. Back at their own 27 after the walk-off for Clipping. Sean Walker made the tackle on first down on the fullback Kevin Turner.
Alabama's trying to go with one back to try to spread out the 4-3 defense of Tennessee. Here's the middle linebacker, Sean Walker. I said earlier, he's going to make a lot of plays today because it's very difficult to block the middle linebacker in a 4-3 defense. You try to do it with your center and guard, but a lot of times they can't get to him.
On 2nd and 8. Vlasic, the tailback, tripped up behind the line of scrimmage.
The 4-3 defense is a defense that is very difficult to run against. This is the only team, Tennessee, that runs this defense in the Southeastern Conference. So every game they play against an opponent in the league, it's the first time they've seen the 4-3 run by Tennessee. Larry Lacewell brought it over here from Arkansas State. It's an outstanding run defense with a secondary where we're playing too deep.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd down. Deflected pass incomplete.
Alabama offensively must control the football and keep it away from Tennessee's offense, Sean. You can't go in 3 plays against this defense and allow the offense of Tennessee with so many weapons to keep getting the football back.
Stan Moss, a sophomore punter from Brent, Alabama. He's a transfer from Texas A&M. Off the side of his foot and out of bounds near midfield.
Well, the kicking game right off the bat is hurting Alabama. This is two situations. They had a turnover on Tennessee's kicking game, didn't take advantage of it. They missed a field goal. And then to have a bad punt right here and give Tennessee good field position, their kicking game is misfiring.
That is a 20-yard punt. This game, 2 of our Franklin, Gary Danielson, and Kevin Kiley for that one. We have a tough act to follow after an exciting Iowa-Michigan game that was started today on ESPN. Kelly misfires on 1st down, and both offenses are out of sync.
Well, Alabama understands that Tennessee's going to try to get the ball as quickly as they can to the receivers. The quick game, which you just saw there, it's a 3-step drop, and he's throwing, but the corner rolled up and took that route away. So Tennessee's going to have to work the middle of the field a little bit more against what Alabama's doing here at the beginning.
From the standpoint of Gene Stallings in Alabama, how much of a letdown that they did not capitalize on the fumble on the opening kickoff?
Well, it's early enough that you can override that, but still, you want to score every chance you get the ball in this scoring territory.
Greg Amsel, the fullback, rambled into the secondary and picked up the 1st down with a 15-yard gain to the 30-yard line.
I said earlier, Tennessee's offensive line may be the best in the country. Watch them. They all stand with their blocks, and they open up the hole for Greg Amsler. They alternate 2 fullbacks. Efren Thomas eventually makes the tackle for Alabama.
Johnny Majors says Amsler and Foles are the best tandem of fullbacks he has ever had. Short gain on 1st down for Tennessee. George Thornton made the tackle on Tony Thompson. Here's Tim.
Sean, the shotgun
Beaten but not untied Tennessee team. Kelly, good play action. Intercepted. George Teague out to midfield for Alabama. 2nd turnover for the Volunteers.
That's a throw Andy Kelly would like to have back. George Teague just broke in front of the ball. As you watch it here.
blocking below the waist. The interception team, after the ball has been intercepted, the 15-yard penalty will be half the distance from the spot of foul. The Alabama ball 1st down.
It's a tough call. Gene Stallings has a right to be upset. This same thing happened last week in the Oklahoma-Texas game. Oklahoma would get a turnover and then get a 15-yard penalty and start 1st and 25. You see the play action here. Andy Kelly really should have ran this football. Covered very well, and it's a poor throw, but he's going to get away with it because of the penalty here, which puts Alabama back on about the 10-yard line.
The sophomore George Teague with the interception, his 1st of the year, his 2nd career pickoff. He's from Montgomery, Alabama.
This is important that Alabama get the ball out of here. They haven't really moved the ball at all against the 4-3 defense of Tennessee.
Crimson Tide wanted a new football. Ball spotted just inside the 10-yard line. Once again, here's Tim.
Quickly felt
This possession, Martin Houston, the backup fullback, plunged ahead for a couple of yards, moving Alabama out to the 12.
Alabama's going to have to throw on first down. I know they're backed up a little bit, but they're going to have to be able to put the ball up on first down against this defense.
And some concern along the near sideline as the doctors tend to Anthony Morgan. No score. We're in the first quarter. 8:40 remaining. Houston again. Bounced off a couple of tacklers, then got driven back by Ernest Fields, number 23.
Alabama tried to slow the rush down of Tennessee with a draw play, but they're back in a third down situation. Not a bad situation, 3rd and 4. It's a run pass type down, but they need to pick up the first down, and they need to start throwing the football here to pick it up. I said earlier on this last third down, I thought maybe they'd throw an all-curl route. Going to take a timeout.
They do have a pass pattern called everybody hook, where that's what all of the receivers do. Gene Stallings will talk it over. No score in the first quarter. In the first quarter here in Knoxville, Tennessee, Sean McDonough with Mike Godfrey and Neil Lomax. Alabama from its own 16-yard line, facing 3rd and 4. Hollingsworth has some running room, but couldn't get away from the tackler. Darrell Hardy again made the stop for Tennessee, and Alabama will be forced to punt.
One thing that the shotgun does for Alabama, it kind of negates the pass rush of Tennessee. It's a little tougher to rush the passer in the shotgun. But again, Gary Hollingsworth is not a real mobile quarterback, so he needs to try to throw the ball to pick up that first down.
He had just the one man to beat, and that was Hardy, but he couldn't get around it. Stan Moss sends his first punt. This is no beauty either. Almost the exact same kick off the side of his foot and out of bounds along the far sideline.
Well, that'll drive a coach crazy. You kick 2 in a row out of bounds like that and put your defense in bad field position. The other thing about Alabama's defense, they're playing without Eric Curry on every down. Eric Curry was hurt, as you mentioned earlier, with a strained knee. When you take somebody of that ability out, 6'6", 254, eventually you're going to feel it. I'll look for Tennessee to start running the football right at them.
Tennessee 1st and 10 at the Alabama 36. Mark Adams, the backup tight end, with the catch short of the first down at the 29.
Just a little curl route over the middle. He got right between the linebackers, John Sullins and Derek Golden. Andy Kelly on a 5-step drop. You're going to see Von Reeves right over the ball, right between the linebackers. He split the linebackers on coverage.
Indeed, it was Reeves, not Adams, with the catch, his first of the game. Poles into the line, stopped short of the first down. Did well just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Roland Poles. Johnny Major says he is the best blocking fullback he has ever coached.
Well, he's had some great fullbacks. Johnny Major is an outstanding coach, and he coached at the University of Pittsburgh, and a lot of people up there really like Johnny and thought highly of him. He's a very nice man. He's a good football coach, and has done an outstanding job here at Tennessee.
3rd and 3. No score in the first quarter. Reverse. Harper has blockers. Has the first down at the 20. Tennessee runs a lot of reverses, trying to capitalize on the speed of their wide receivers.
It's a good call when you're in the red zone area like this. You expect blitzes. Here's the pitch to Tony Thompson, who will now give the ball to Alvin Harper coming around in the reverse. Andy Kelly was there to block, but he just didn't pick up the block. Harper picks up the first down. Good effort by Robert Stewart, the middle guard, to force him out of bounds.
Antonio London had a chance to get him behind the line of scrimmage, but did not. Thompson inside the 10 with another first down.
Just a sprint draw play to the right side that Tony Thompson broke back to the weak side. The player that made this play will be Carl Pickens. You see the offensive line right here. Charles McCray, Doug Baird leading the blocking. Now follow, as you see, Tony Thompson breaks to the outside, then gets a good block by Carl Pickens.
Thompson. Inside the 5.
John, Tennessee's tough down here because they show a lot of formations down here, so you can't really, they force Alabama not to go to a goal line defense real early here because they'll use a lot of receivers and they'll spread you out. Well, a lot of teams will just try to bring everything in tight and try to run the football in. Tennessee will spread you out down here a little bit more than people like.
Second and goal from the 5. No score, 5:35 left in the first quarter. Thompson. Taken down at the 2. Stacey Harrison, the safety, number 1, was running stride to stride with Tony Thompson.
Excellent job by Stacey Harrison of keeping Tony Thompson from getting in the end zone. If he could have got his body turned just a little bit more, the momentum might have taken him into that checkerboard end zone. But Stacey Harrison did a nice job of tackling him up high and bringing him out of bounds.
What do you look for third and goal from just outside the 2?
I think they'll try to do something similar to what they just did, try to run the sweep outside.
Amsler tried to go over the top and didn't get close. That's a long way for the fullback Amsler to leap. They were outside the 2, and it was not close.
Alabama's been very good in their rushing defense. Very strong team against the run.
Just as Gene Stallings did not gamble earlier, Johnny Majors will kick a field goal.
Watch Alabama's defensive line get up the field. That's the important thing on defense. If you can get past the line of scrimmage and get penetration before he's able to go up in the air, and that's what Alabama did.
A 20-yard attempt for Greg Burke. 3-0, Tennessee. Tennessee leads 3-0 following a 20-yard field goal by Greg Burke. Joey Chapman, the punter, handles the kickoff. Lorenzo Cole, number 40. Lost the football. They're going to say that he was down back at the 17-yard line. The Volunteers think that they have recovered, but Dave Thomas is in for a rude awakening as the officials say it is still Alabama football.
Again, Tennessee's very good on special teams, and they had good coverage on that, made the play, and almost forced a turnover. Their defense right now is number 1 in forcing turnovers. See Lorenzo Cole come in from the side over there and make the play and cause the fumble.
Fabio Henson knocked it free. The Cole was ruled down. Hollingsworth trying to throw. Hardy, the first man to greet him at the 16-yard line, a loss of 1.
Again, on the 4-3 defense, you have the extra linebacker, so your coverage is tough to throw the ball over the middle right now when you're dropping back like that. But Gary Hollingsworth needs to find a target, get the ball up the football field to him. Tennessee likes the idea of forcing him out of the pocket.
Less than 3.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Alabama facing 2nd and 11. Busty, the tight end, close to a first down. He has it. They'll spot him out of bounds near the 30. Let's check in along the sideline with Neil Lomax.
Well, guys, anytime a quarterback loses 2 star players on offense like Stacey and Sanderson, Hollingsworth's favorite wide receiver, you have confidence problems. And that's what Gary Hollingsworth's going through right now. A lot of confidence problems. Alabama's going to win this game. He's got to get his confidence back.
As Neil Lomax well knows, Gene Stallings suffered through many injuries to key players last year while he was coach of the Phoenix Cardinals. He said he had 19 players who missed 6 games or more due to injury. It's the same story this year, now at Alabama. Chris Anderson, the true freshman, couldn't get away from Floyd Miley, the junior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Not only injuries for Alabama, but to key players, particularly on offense.
Rushing last year and 371 yards receiving the football, so you lost a big part of your offense.
Quick pass caught. Donnie Finkley. Went down right where he caught the football at the 36-yard line.
And the same holds true for Tennessee, Sean, when you lose a Chuck Webb. Somebody has to step in and try to regain those yards and try to give you the same type of thing that Chuck Webb did and Saran Stacy did.
That has happened for the most part for Tennessee. Tony Thompson has done an excellent job behind this terrific Tennessee offensive line. But Hollingsworth is working with a cast he is unfamiliar with, and it shows up particularly in the timing department. Just a little bit off. 3rd and 3. Inside of 2 minutes to play in the first quarter, 3-0 Vols. Hollingsworth will run for the first down. And that's a late hit. Jeremy Lincoln flagged for hitting Hollingsworth as he went out of bounds along the Alabama sideline.
It's a good fake by Gary Hollingsworth. He faked the power sweep off the split backs.
Personal foul, late hit, out of bounds, first down, 15-yard penalty.
Jeremy Lincoln came up late and hit him out of bounds and caused the penalty. Gary Hollingsworth did a nice job. He came out all by himself on that. There was no blocking at all. He faked everything to the left side, came out on the run by himself to the right side, was able to pick up the first down, get to 3 yards.
Best day of Gary Hollingsworth's career last year against Tennessee. 32 completions, a school record. Anderson, the true freshman, had just that man to beat for the touchdown, but he couldn't slide away from the grasp of the nickelback, Roderick Lewis.
And Chris Anderson, the freshman, will follow blocking at number 70, Terrell Chapman, who's involved in a double team. Look at the movement they're getting on Mark Moore right here, which caused that opening on the backside. A good back like Chris Anderson saw it on the backside, was able to cut back.
Anderson has been timed at 4-4 in the 40. Here he is again. That's a tough run. He tried to steamroll Ernest Fields and came up about a yard short of the first down at the 36 of Tennessee.
The 3rd-1 situation here for Alabama. Last week, Tennessee went to a 50 defense, completely shifted out of the 4-3 and went to the 50 against Florida, trying to shut down their passing game. Florida did not run the ball successfully against them last week, and that's something Alabama's going to try to exploit a little bit here early in the first quarter.
The Tide 1 for 4 on 3rd down conversions. Jones might have picked up the first down with the second effort. He has. He needed to get to the 30, and they'll spot him just across the 30 for the first down.
They like Robert Jones on short yardage situations. He's 190 pounds, where you have Chris Anderson, who's 175, and Derek Elastic about 185. So they like him. He's a tall, he's a rangy player, and in short yardage, that's the player they'll go to.
And he is the cousin of Bobby Humphrey.
Not a bad back himself.
Alabama on the move in the final seconds of the first quarter. 11 seconds remaining. Tennessee leads 3-0. Buskey dropped the ball on the final play of quarter number 1.
Gary Hollingsworth had a tough time there because Matt Hammond, the freshman, is blocking on Chuck Smith, number 56. That's a match we'll look at all day, but Chuck Smith should win that match most of the day.
After 1 quarter in Knoxville, the Volunteers 3 and the Crimson Tide nothing. Matt Hammond of Alabama against Tennessee's Chuck Smith.
Well, he's a redshirt freshman, and he's going against a player who's 6'4", 234 with excellent burst off the ball. That's what Alabama doesn't want to happen in past situations, that matchup. They're going to have to try to double Chuck Smith and give Hammond some help.
This is the 10th play of the Alabama drive. It's a screen, and Anderson thrown down behind the line of scrimmage. Ernest Fields, the junior, read it perfectly and made the big play for Tennessee.
Outstanding play by Ernest Fields of reading the screen pass. Gary Hollingsworth was rushed. Didn't have a whole lot of time to set it up to Chris Anderson, but you can see right there, Ernest Field, the best way to deflate a screen pass is get people up the field so the linemen can't set up and get their blocks ready so that the receiver then can follow them. Outstanding job, Ernest Field. This is what Alabama doesn't want to be in, 3rd and long.
And at the moment, they are out of field goal range. Hollingsworth throws, caught for a first down. Donnie Finkley inside the 25 and spotted down at the 22-yard line.
Alabama went to 4 receivers and spread out to 2 deep coverage. Donnie Finkley, number 15, just breaks down on the curl. Does a good job here. The receiver coach had him go right to the sticks to get the first down. He sat down there, picked up the first down. It's a good throw by Gary Hollingsworth. He had a lot on the football.
Three 0 Tennessee. Alabama on the move. Anderson not on the move. Chuck Smith in on the tackle.
Then Chuck Smith, and then Chris Mill.
Larry Lacewell wants his defense to cause turnovers. He wants them to get into a situation where they cause fumbles or interceptions, and that's what they've done a real good job of in their early part of the season. One thing about the Southeastern Conference offensively, they're all about the same. No one really runs the option attack like Colorado did to Tennessee early in the year. Most of these offenses are mirrors. They're all doing about the same thing.
2nd and 12. Anderson thrown for a loss again, this time by Dale Carter.
Alabama ran motion to the top of the screen here to crack back on the defensive end, Chuck Smith, but good reaction by the linebackers and Dale Carter, who's a junior college football player out of Ellsworth Junior College. Interesting thing about him, in his senior year, he either returned a punt or a kickoff for a touchdown in every game his senior season. Tells you a little bit about what type of athlete he is.
Alabama 3 for 3 on 3rd downs on this drive. The shovel pass to Anderson. He's close to a first down inside the 15. It'll depend on the spot. From here, it looks like he's going to be a little bit short by less than a yard. They'll mark him down right at the 13. He needed to get between the 12 and the 13.
It's the second time they've run the shovel pass, this time to Chris Anderson, the freshman. And again, good blocking when you run the shovel pass like that. It gives time. It's almost like a screen draw type of play. He just came up a little short. Mark Fletcher made the tackle on him and stopped him from getting the first down.
Alabama will try for the field goal. A 30-yard attempt for Philip Doyle. That's good after his earlier miss. And this game is tied at 3. 11:39 to play in the first half, and we'll be right back. Following the Alabama kickoff, which rolled through the end zone, Tennessee will get the football 1st and 10 at its own 20 in a 3-3 game in the second quarter.
Well, time of possession right now, Alabama's had it for 12 minutes and 31 seconds. Tennessee's only been on the field offensively 5 minutes and 50 seconds. That's what Alabama has to do if they're to stay around for the fourth quarter and try to win this boxing match.
Andy Kelly dumps it off. Short game to the tight end, Mark Adams. Here's Tim Brando.
Miami has scored against you,
or at least some consideration. That was a touchdown. Answorth. He'll be short of the first down. They'll spot him down at the 29. An impressive drive for Alabama.
But they've had fourth quarter woes and all that they may have a shot to win this football game. Tennessee's so explosive that at any time they can explode, but they can't explode if their offense is on the bench.
3rd and 1 for the Vols from their own 29. Thompson didn't get there. John Sullins, the inside linebacker, number 90, made the play for Alabama.
Watch John Sullins, number 99, come underneath the block and make the play and stop Tennessee from picking up the first down. An outstanding job by Sullins. Now, sometimes you'll go underneath like that and it'll hurt you because they'll break a seam and make it a long yardage play, but that was a pretty good job by Sullins.
Chris Anderson back to field the punt from Joey Chapman. Anderson from the 30 giving ground. And he's down, tackled by Shazan Bradley, number 40, back at the 26. A loss of 4 on the return. 3-3 to score in the second quarter. In the second quarter here in Knoxville, Tennessee, the ITT Hartford student of the game this afternoon is Alabama quarterback, the ITT Hartford student of the game. Alabama goes to play action this time on first down. Flag down. The catch made by Lamont Russell. That is 23 straight games with at least one reception if the play stands. The flag thrown in the secondary. Yeah. Defensive holding. The call from Jimmy Harper. That'll be declined, and Alabama will take the ball first and 10 at its own 41. Johnny Majors, an impressive record, and an impressive record last year when they went 11-1, the only loss to Alabama. But he didn't feel they were a good defensive football team last year. Now they are as a result of several junior college transfers who have come to Knoxville.
Well, they were suspect going in this year defensively, and he made a couple of changes. One, he brought Larry Lacewell in with a 4-3 defense. The second thing, as you see here, the JUCO connection. He brought in 6 junior college players on defense, and they've helped him right away.
Back to the run on first down. Jones pulls over a tackler and is close to the first down at the 49 of Tennessee. Robert Jones, a junior from Birmingham, Alabama.
Well, Alabama had an open date last week, and that had to help them in this ball game. But I said earlier also that I feel like that Alabama, when you have a coaching change and you're in a coaching transition, sometimes it's like driving a car where you first drive a car, you got both hands on the wheel and you're driving and you're really tense, and then all of a sudden, as you drive for a while, you eventually get to one hand driving, and of course you're driving. I've seen yours is worse than that. But the same thing as a football team. Once you get used to your coaches and new coaches get used to you, you start playing a little different. You freewheel a little bit more, and I think Alabama's doing that today. They're having a little bit more fun. They're playing a little bit loose out there right now, and that consequently they're playing a pretty good football game.
And despite all of the pressure on Gene Stallings, the Alabama fans howling about the 0-3 start, he seemed surprisingly relaxed when we met with him yesterday. It was a first down for Alabama. Martin Houston into the secondary with another first down for Alabama. He's finally taken down to the 35-yard line.
Alabama has 2 offensive line coaches, Mike Solari and Jim Fuller. And they work 2 in there. Here they're going to get a block. They're going to get that combination block from the backside on Sean Walker. And again, Dale Carter makes the play. They're running the ball effectively, which people have not been able to do against Tennessee.
That was Chris Robinette, the left guard, with the important block. First downs picked up on consecutive plays by the Tide. 3-3 to score in the second quarter. Houston fumbled and got it back. He dropped the football on the turf, but it bounced right back to him at the 32.
It's a quick draw here. Watch the linemen set up, Shope, pass, and then they attack the defensive player. Sean Walker, the middle linebacker, makes the play. Caused the fumble, so was not able to recover. Martin Houston was able to recover to keep the football for Alabama. Again, a turnover defense is what Johnny Majors wants in that defensive front of Tennessee.
Tennessee leads the nation in turnover ratio. Jones lost the football as it was wrapped up by Fields. Couple of the Tennessee players tried to pick it up and run with it instead of just falling on it. They may have come up with the football anyway. And they do. Tennessee takes over, adding to their impressive mark as far as turnover ratio is concerned, best in the nation.
Again, the key to being a good linebacker, Ernest Fields, number 23, doesn't overrun the play. Now he gets himself in pretty good field position, pretty good bend in his legs, and is able to cause the fumble. Now Tennessee has to make something happen on offense. They've not been very effective running the football against Alabama, so they may need to start opening up a little bit more on first down against them.
3-3 to score. Halfway through the second quarter, it's Thompson on first down. Stopped by George Thornton, number 94, after a short game.
Looked like Alabama went to an 8-man front on first down. May have been the Chicago Bear defense, the 46 defense that teams like to use. Here's a no huddle by Tennessee right here. Watch the trick play now.
Kelly snapped the ball back to Thompson. Alabama not fooled, and Thompson did well just to get to the 38-yard line. He was looking at a loss.
Well, sometimes when you run a trick play, it's not going to be effective. But I'll tell you what, it is effective in a lot of ways because it puts the defense on guard. There they were just running the play where the quarterback bends over like he's tying his shoe and pitch it out real quick. So Alabama read it, got out of the defensive huddle right away, and was prepared for the play.
Andy Kelly looking at third down, 6 yards to go for a first down. Looks like he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Amsler, short of a first down. That's a gain of 1. And the natives are getting restless.
Now, even if you're undefeated, sometimes they get restless. But Tennessee, again, they're coming off a very emotional football game. Their homecoming game against Florida where it was a close game, and then they just happened to blow them out in the second half. And they look to me to be a little flat.
The man who made the tackle on Amsler, Byron Holdbrooks, number 79, the nose guard, is the injured player. He's Sean McDonough with Mike Gottfried and Kevin Kiley. Not Kevin Kiley. We had Kevin Kiley here last week. We have Neil Lomax.
We'll get him back if you want us to.
No, Kevin's coming up next in our 7:30 Eastern Time game. 3-3 the score in the second quarter. Anderson up the middle. And a good return all the way out to the 39-yard line. Speaking of Neil Lomax, he's standing by the sideline with Tennessee's Chuck Webb. Neil?
All right, guys, I'm here with the second leading rusher last year in the SEC, behind the number 1 rusher in the SEC. On the other side of the sideline, Saran Stacy, Chuck Webb. How's it feel? Both you guys, the 2 best running backs almost in the country, and you're both on the sidelines.
It's kind of hard watching it, but it's fun, too. It's a close game, and it's going to be a real big game today.
Now, they say you're out almost till next year. You can't even play in spring ball.
It just depends on me, how well I work out, in the spring and everything. But I'll probably come out for a few practices.
How hard is he looking at a guy like Tony Thompson?
Tony's great. He's a senior. He knows everything inside and out, and it's fun watching him play.
That's a true player. He's rooting for his teammates. Send it back upstairs to you guys.
On first down, it was Hollingsworth with the scramble for about 7 out to the 46.
Well, Alabama's trying to offset the speed of the Tennessee defense. When you run a particular play and the flow of the linebackers is so quick, that's why that play is effective, because everybody is taking off after the ball and not expecting Gary Hollingsworth to keep the football.
Lassick has the first down. He crossed midfield. They'll mark him at the 49 of Tennessee.
He made a good cut there, Derek Lassick, because Sean Walker was sitting right in the hole and he broke it outside. Ernest Field then chased him down, but not after he got a first down. First down right now, Alabama's averaging 4.3 yards, which is pretty good if they can maintain that.
Come on, big orange, let's go! Come on, big orange, let's go!
Ticking down to 5 minutes left in the first half. 3-3 the score. Overthrown is the tight end, Buskey.
It's the same play earlier that Alabama had run with success to hit the tight end, Steve Buskey, but Ernest Fields ran with him this time and cut off the passing lane.
Second and 10 upcoming. Hollingsworth waits as Lorenzo Cole was a late substitution coming in for Steve Buskey.
You see him checking his wrist. He's got the plays numbered, and the coach will signal from the sideline the number he wants him to run.
2 seconds left to get the play off, and they just do beat the play clock. It is shoveled off to Lamont Russell, and he's taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Dave Thomas.
Lamont Russell's a tight end. They're now playing at wide receiver. He gets the ball on the shovel pass, and a nice job by Dave Thomas, number 13, a corner coming up. He read it right away and made the play. You see it again. Watch the linemen. They're able to block because it's a draw type of situation for them. Good blocks, but again, the speed of Tennessee closed down the running lane. Watch the defensive tackles here now. Twist on the shotgun against Alabama.
Hollingsworth on 3rd and 12 overthrows Lorenzo Cole. Good coverage by Dale Carter.
He had him open. He just overthrew it. And sometimes I talked to Neil Lomax a little bit earlier about the crown on the field here at Tennessee. In the middle of the field, it's probably the biggest crown I've seen on any field other than Oklahoma. And sometimes the quarterback will overthrow early in the ball game until he gets used to it.
Stan Moss has shanked each of his first 2 punts. Carter on the run from the 19 and down at the 28. Matter of fact, Moss was lifted that time. After 2 shanks, the punter was Tank Williamson. His punt a 33-yarder and a 10-yard return officially for Dale Carter.
Alabama has so far been effective of not allowing Tennessee a big play. They're a big play offensive football team. They've shut it down so far. They need to continue to do that. Unbalanced line to the left side here for Tennessee.
Ball's keeping on the ground on 1st down. Thompson out to the 33, a gain of almost 5 on 1st down for Tennessee. 3-3 the score with 3:40 left in the first half.
Sometimes when you're struggling a little bit on offense, you like to do some different things. Tennessee went to an unbalanced line and ran to the side. They had more linemen than they usually do. Alabama did not adjust that time by moving a man over. Here's the unbalanced line again. Alabama's going to have to move over here.
The fullback Coles, a very short gain. 1 yard to the 34 for Roland Coles, the senior from Caledonia, New York, near Rochester.
Nice job by Robert Stewart, the nose man. He looked like he slanted to the unbalanced line and beat the block of John Fisher, the center, to make that tackle. The defensive line for Alabama, even without Eric Curry on every play, has really controlled the line of scrimmage. Now they have the unbalanced line to the right side.
Play action on 3rd down, man open, and it's through the hands of Vaughn Reeves, the tight end.
They came back to the short side. The unbalanced line was to the top of the screen and to the field, and they came back and tried to hit Vaughn Reeves, who was the 2nd man on the end of the line of scrimmage. He was open, just couldn't hold on to the football. Tennessee's last 3 possessions, 3 and out.
Joey Chapman, the punter. A good kick. We haven't seen much of that today from either side. Anderson. Down to the 28. Let's check in again with Tim Brando.
There is a may think we're in Birmingham, but sometimes when you win or lose a ball game like they lost last week against Texas, you don't recover for a couple weeks, and that might be what happened to Oklahoma.
Hollingsworth with a flag down. He's down. Sacked by Kerry Bailey. The flag was thrown in the area in which you would expect holding. And that's what it is against the Crimson Tide.
Gary Hollingsworth went drop back pass, but again, Kerry Bailey beat the block of Trent Patterson and got in right away to cause the sack.
He was held, but still made the sack, his 2nd of the year.
Holding the offensive line, doing the pass play. Penalty against the offensive team is declined. It'll be 2nd down.
As a coach, you never really realize how much a loss can hurt you. Here's the crown of that football field we're talking about. From one side, Gene Stallings probably can't even see Johnny Majors. On the other side, the crown's so big.
2nd and 15. The sack good for a 5-yard loss. Down to 2:10 to play in the half. 3-3 the score. Kevin Turner nearly picked up the first down. He's all the way out to the 35.
The draw has been very effective for Alabama. Kevin Turner on the draw here. Dale Carter, the free safety, has to come up to make the play. Again, a good tackle on Turner, but the draw has given the offensive lineman of Alabama a chance to set. And then
Coming up at halftime, the Rayovac report with Tim Brando. Alabama 3 of 8 on third down. They pick this one up. The completion out to the 49-yard line to Lamond Russell.
This time Alabama came back and faked the draw to hold the linebackers. On a play-action pass, you're either trying to do one of two things. You want to throw, fake the play action and throw behind the linebackers, or fake it and try to go deep. Here Alabama's not going without a huddle to try to catch Tennessee.
And because they've already used one of their timeouts, Hollingsworth throws it away. That'll stop the clock with 1:13 left in the half. Alabama 3 and Tennessee 3.
Lamond Russell, who was a tight end who made the catch on the previous play, it moved him out to wide receiver to try to bolster that position a little bit. Gene Stallings just felt like he had to get somebody outside to help receive the football and make some plays for Gary Hollingsworth.
Second and 10 for Gary Hollingsworth. He was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year last year. Tennessee players are saying they had a lot to do with that, with the great game he had against the Vols. There's the pass through the hands of Donnie Finkley.
Gary Hollingsworth did a nice job here of trying to avoid the rush, move up in the pocket, and on the move he threw a pretty good throw to Donnie Finkley that should have been caught. Here Gary Hollingsworth off the shotgun, moves up to avoid the rush, on the move, gets good velocity on that football. That ball should have been caught. Looked like Donnie Finkley even stopped running a little bit. He should have continued to run. He knew he was close to the sideline, but yet he still had room if he would have continued to run to make that catch, try to keep his feet in bounds. Now Alabama's fighting the clock in the Tennessee defense.
On 3rd and 10, Turner, and Tennessee was not fooled. The first hit from Darryl Hardy. And the Volunteer defense holds.
The draw's been effective on 1st and 2nd down. 3rd down and long, Tennessee played the draw this particular play. And the linebacker, Darryl Hardy, just sat in there and read it. Now Alabama will be satisfied to punt the football and try to punt Tennessee in the hole here with about 39 seconds to go.
And again, it's Williamson, the backup punter. After the 2 poor kicks by Stan Moss, he was removed. Williamson handled the last punt.
They're going to take a delay of game, it looks like.
And the flag is thrown for delay of game.
Here's where, if you're Tennessee, in this type of situation, you might as well go after and try to block it. With only 19 seconds to go, line them all up and go after it.
Big rush. Thomas almost blocked it. Carter from his 16. Down at the 20. 8 seconds left in the first half in a 3-3 game. A 39-yard punt and a 4-yard return to Dale Carter.
Alabama has played well in the first half this entire football season. As I said before, the open date may have really helped them prepare for this football game. The second half, the 4th quarter, has not been their quarter, and I know Gene Stallings would like to change that today. Tennessee looks like it's just going to kill the clock.
Indeed they will. The 96,000 fans booing the unbeaten Volunteers as they leave the field. One field goal for each side, and at the half we're tied at 3. Coming up next, the Rayovac halftime report with Tim Brando.
For me, it's the perfect truck.
Our score at the half, Tennessee came into this football game averaging 42.3 points per game, 3rd in the nation, and averaging 439 yards of total offense per game. The Alabama defense, even with some injuries, held the Tennessee offense to 71 yards of total offense in the first half.
Well, Tim Brando is absolutely right. The 3 receptions that Tennessee has had catching the football have been by backs and tight ends. They have not hit a wide receiver with a pass yet, and the big play players are the wide receivers. Tennessee looks a little flat. Alabama, on the other hand, second half, remember, the 4th quarter has been a tough quarter for them. They have to overcome that.
They had almost twice as much time of possession in the first half as Tennessee. Down to the field, let's get the thoughts of Neil Lomax.
Well, we usually have a comment from one of the head coaches, guys, but both coaches, Majors and Stallings, would not talk to me. Even Gene Stallings, my old football pro coach, wouldn't want to comment because of the intense rivalry and the closeness of this football game. So, mum's the word down the sidelines.
Well, sometimes when you're a coach, you don't even, Neil, he might not even seen you as he come out because everybody gets so emotional in this ball game, and this has been an emotional football game for both these teams.
And we should point out that Neil and Gene Stallings enjoy a very friendly relationship.
Still didn't see.
Gene decided he did not want to speak. Robert Jones ran into a heavy tackle as he crossed the 20 and went out to the 23. He took a big pop from Mark Fletcher.
I'm sure both coaches try to settle their teams down. Gene Stallings trying to tell them, hey, we can win this football game. We just got to now put 2 more quarters together. So, as I said earlier, heavyweight fight. We're around here in the 3rd quarter. We need to be around the 4th. Johnny Majors said we got to play with more emotion. I'm sure he's trying to draw the emotion out of his football team.
And the crowd is trying to spur on the Volunteers as the second half begins. Lassick leaps to the 25, a gain of 2 on the first play from scrimmage of the second half. Alabama has been in this position before.
I think with the
Lassick again on second down. Squirts across the 30, down at the 31, 2 yards short of a first down.
I'm impressed with the way Alabama has run the football. They have been able to run the football on a team that has not had problems with the run all year. Mike Solari, as I said, Jim Fuller, the offensive line coach, Larry Kirksey, the running back coach, Mal Moore, who calls the plays, all have to be really happy the way their guys are playing.
Alabama this year has been outscored 24-23 in the 3rd quarter and 48-12 in the 4th quarter. On 3rd and 2. Across the line of scrimmage was Sean Walker, and flags fly. I did not detect any movement along the Alabama offensive line.
No, I think Sean Walker may have been affected by the way Gary Hollingsworth called the play. He may have put emphasis on something and drew Sean Walker.
That's what it was, offside on Walker.
Quarterback, by the way he calls the play and the way he puts an inflection into a sound, can draw a defensive player off sides, and I believe that's what Gary Hollingsworth was able to do to Sean Walker. Sean Walker was on a blitz and was going to fire that gap, just hit it a little bit too soon.
And it gives Alabama a first down at the 35. Just underway in the second half, 3-3 the score. Complete to Lassick for a gain of about 5 yards to the 41.
On a play-action pass like that, he was looking to try to hit Steve Buskey on a crossing route. Watch Gary Hollingsworth here on the fake. Watch a tight end 83 come across. That's his number 1 receiver he's going to try to go to. But the linebacker, Ernest Fields, ran with him. So then he choked it down and threw it to the running back, Derek Lassick.
Back to the run on 2nd and 5. The fullback Turner, junior from Prattville, Alabama. Out to the 43-yard line, again 2 yards short of a first down.
This is a belly play where they're going to give the ball to Kevin Turney. Watch Sean Walker, the middle linebacker. Again, no one can get to him, and he's able to make the play. The middle linebacker, the 4-3, has to make those plays. I'll tell you something else I see Sean in this ball game. The crowd now has become a factor. They're getting into the football game. I think they were showing the after effects of last week's homecoming game too.
And they remember how explosive the balls were. They were just ahead of Florida 7-3 at the half last week and wound up winning 45-3. Hollingsworth guns it to the wide open Buskey. And what a tough run by Buskey after the catch. He plowed forward for an extra 7 or 8 yards, all the way to the 27-yard line.
Gary Hollingsworth faked this play earlier in the game and ran it twice. This time, Tennessee played it. Chuck Smith, the defensive end, makes it pull up, and Gary Hollingsworth, he hits Steve Buskey. He's so open, he looks around, he don't see anybody. He wants to get up the football field. Again, good field position for Alabama.
Jones. 2 to 25, a pickup of just more than 2.
That was a play that was designed to go the backside right away. It's a run that looks like it's going to go to the right side, but Terrell Chapman, the offensive tackle, number 7, he pulled around to the left side, and Anderson got right on his belt buckle and ran right behind him. It's a design play to go the backside.
We've played nearly 4 minutes in the third quarter. 3-3 to score. Robert Jones has room along the sideline. He's knocked out of bounds inside the 17 by Dale Carter. First down, Alabama.
Robert Jones again, the biggest of the tailbacks. Watch him follow the tackle again. Matt Hammond, it's the same play they just ran before. He breaks outside. It's a design play to go the backside. Again, he starts to the left side and breaks it back to the right side and follows the offensive tackle. Dale Carter made the tackle, the free safety, the junior college player at Ellsworth Junior College.
An impressive drive by the Tide to start the second half. Jones, big hole. Down to the 10-yard line.
Robert Jones again, the bigger the back. Cutting all the time as he's working up the football field. Tackle made by Roderick Lewis. Now, here's where I expect Tennessee to blitz Alabama. They're going to have to come after him right now with linebackers. Here's where the blitz will come.
2nd and 3. Alabama driving, trying to take the lead. Jones with some moves. Picked up 2. He was putting the moves on Sean Walker. They basically were staring at each other for a moment or two.
Well, the one thing Sean Walker has to be able to do is stay in a square position. As you see him here, as Robert Jones gets the football, he can't overrun it. He has to break down just like he is here because you're up against good backs. And Jones still made extra yards on the play. Tennessee fans trying to get this team up, trying to get them back.
The 10th play of the drive upcoming. 3rd and a long one. Hollingsworth called for timeout. No time remaining on the play clock as he asked for the timeout. Let's see if the officials grant him the timeout without assessing Alabama a penalty. 0 shows on the clock. And now the officials say, pick up the flag. It was a timeout called by Alabama before the clock ticked down. 3-3 to score. We'll be right back.
You see Alabama throw the fade route to an outside receiver in the corner of the end zone. They've got about 2 yards to get the first down. They've had success running the football. This might be a chance where you want to take the chance to try to get the touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone.
3rd down, nearly 2 for the first down. Into the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Buskey. Roderick Lewis had the coverage.
Tennessee had good pressure on Gary Hollingsworth. Chuck Smith comes up. Here goes Buskey across the middle. It's a catchable throw right here. Roderick Lewis is on him. He just got his body turned a little bit the wrong way. Good job by Roderick Lewis on the coverage.
A 26-yard field goal attempt for Philip Doyle to give Bama the lead. It is good. He's 2 for 3 today. And the Tide is back on top 6-3.
Fans here in Neyland Stadium, but Alabama's brought their
teams in the Southeastern Conference. Fans get into the football game.
Doyle bounces it down the field to Carter. Carter burst of speed and a good return to the 33. Good field position for the first possession of the second half for Tennessee. It comes on the heels of the
receivers. The ball needs to get in their hands.
On the ground with Thompson. A gain of 7. on the first play from scrimmage of the second half for Tennessee. Thompson held to 31 yards on 10 carries in the first half.
The second half has been a problem for Alabama, mainly because of lack of depth. They haven't had as much depth. I know Gene Stallings, when he came into Alabama, felt like there wasn't as many players there as he needed the first year, and he's had some injuries. And again, very important to point out, Eric Curry has not played very much in this football game.
On 2nd and 3, pulls the fullback, first down, he pulls across midfield. Spencer Hammond made the tackle for Alabama.
Alabama came up with a drive that consumed a lot of time. Tennessee needs to answer the challenge right now. Anytime somebody scores, you want to try to come back and answer the score. And that's what Tennessee has to do right now. Looks like they're going to run the football and pound it at him, but still, again, eventually they'll get the ball to Harper or Anthony Morgan.
Thompson slips down. They'll spot him down where he first slipped down at the 50. Johnny Majors, himself an outstanding football player at Tennessee.
Johnny's recruiting. He has 22 states represented on this Tennessee team, and as he told me the other day, that sometimes will cause an up and down year because they basically recruit Tennessee. They'll get 8 players out of this state, and then they have to go all over the country to try and find the rest of their players.
Kelly hit as he threw it. Dropped right into the hands of Derek Oden. He couldn't have asked for an easier interception, but he dropped it. Spencer Hammond hit Kelly as he was throwing it.
Alabama came with a blitz on 2nd down. You see Spencer Hammond coming right here and getting into Andy Kelly, hits Andy Kelly as he's throwing the football. Derek Golden had a shot at this interception. Watch the pressure again to the outside. Beat the block of Roland Pose. Again threw it right in the hands of Derek Golden.
Tennessee just 1 for 6 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 10. Kelly's going to try to run for it. He's short by 2 yards.
Now this is going to be an interesting call for Johnny Majors. 4th and 2. He may go for this one. No, he's going to kick the football. He's going to play field position. John Majors has been a coach who has always believed in the kicking game. And you can't fault him here because he's going to try to kick the ball, kick it inside the 20, 10, get field position on Alabama, and put the pressure on him.
Now it's Kelly, who has been a punter in the past, in punt formation. Pretty good kick. And the balls, where will they mark it down? A touchback. Whoa! The official changing his mind in midstream, started a signal touchback, then says down here inside the 1.
Well, I'm not sure of that. I think momentum took him in the end zone. This should have been a touchback. Andy Kelly with a nice job punting the football, but I don't believe the Alabama player, he's got control of it right when it gets to about the 1-yard line. The Tennessee player has control of it, but he steps in the end zone. That ball should have been a touchback.
Now watch the official.
He gave the signal of the touchback. Boy, Tennessee got a big break right there, and Gene Stallings got something. Watch, he makes contact with the ball, but he went into the end zone with it.
Now watch the official. Right there, you see him start to come up with the arm along his side to say touchback, then changed his mind. Hollingsworth just trying to shove it out. Didn't get very far, perhaps out to the 1 for a half yard, and that's it.
Watch this again now. Darryl Hardy makes the play, but he's in the end zone. His momentum carried him in the end zone. The ball should have been on the 20-yard line. Alabama on this particular play, they have very little yardage here. The penalty is going to be declined. It's going to be 2nd down. This might be a play where you fake a play action and put it up deep. Sean, try to throw it out of here.
Alabama with the football. 6:55 to play in the 3rd quarter. Gene Stallings in possession of a 6-3 lead.
They try to put it up to Lamont Russell. 1 back set.
Vlasic nearly collided with Hollingsworth as he took the handoff. He's out to the 2, perhaps just beyond that, and now Tepper's flare.
You got a couple different philosophies right here now offensively. You either want to try to get enough yardage to allow your punter to have enough room to punt. So you need to get out a couple more yards. You don't want to be trapped back there where the punter's only going to be 9 yards instead of where he's usually at about 15 yards. The other thing is to try to hit him with a deep pass. 2nd down and 9. Try to throw it out of there.
Well, on game day here on ESPN this afternoon, an excellent feature about officiating in college football, and if this call turns out to be a big one, we'll hear a lot about it in the days ahead. Hollingsworth nearly intercepted. Looking for Finkley along the near sideline. It was overthrown, and Dale Carter, as always, was the man there for Tennessee.
Dale Carter dropped that football because he was trying to watch to make sure his feet were in bounds, and when you're defensive back, sometimes you don't get that many receptions. But to watch Carter, Gary Hollingsworth threw this ball poorly. And watch Dale Carter. He tries now to take his eyes down, make sure he can get his feet in bounds, and just couldn't control the ball. Now look for Alabama just to run the ball and punt it and get out of here.
On 3rd and 9. Hollingsworth to throw out of his own end zone. He's out to the 2.
Gary Hollingsworth did the wise thing right here. He went back to pass and didn't see anything open. He was trying to go to Steve Busby. As he looks, he doesn't see anything. He just wants to get back out to avoid the safety. Remember this. This could be the turning point of the football game.
J.J. Surlis was the tackler on Hollingsworth. Williamson the punt, and a good one. Carter from his own 49. And down at the 43 of Alabama. The Vols take over, trailing by 3. Hollering out at the officials about, we would assume, this call. And it clearly appeared that Hardy goes into the end zone with the ball. Never did down it at the 1 or inside the 1. The official started to signal touchback and then changed his mind. And that could be a turning point of this football game, although Tennessee does not take advantage of its excellent field position on 1st down. Thompson stopped for a loss, and a flag flies away from the tackle along the near sideline after the play.
This is going to be a big penalty. I think this is going to be a personal foul on Tennessee.
Well, that might improve Gene Stallings' mood.
I don't think so. Once you get on official, you're going to stay on because you want the next call.
Well, Gene just got it.
He did. No, he wants the next one, too.
All that hollering during the commercial might have paid off on the very first play of Johnny Major's drive.
Tennessee has been very conservative, and I know they went into this game feeling that the wide receivers were going to be a factor, and to be in this kind of situation with 5:02 and a receiver not making a catch to this point has got to just be befuddling Johnny Majors.
Alabama leads 6-3 with less than 5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. The screen for Amsler. He's to the 48 of Alabama.
Here's Andy Kelly setting up the screen to number 47, Greg Answer. You see him slip out. Now the linemen head downfield. After Answer gets the ball, he'll yell go, and the linemen take off downfield, and he follows the blocks, and he's eventually tackled by Steve Webb, an outside backer.
3rd down. 15 yards to go for Tennessee 1st down. Kelly lobbing it deep down the middle and intercepted. Antonio Langham brought it all the way out to the 38-yard line. Greg Faulkner was the intended receiver, but it wasn't even close. There was a little bit of bumping as he went downfield.
Well, people were complaining about that, but I don't think that's a factor in this. Andy Kelly just overthrew the pass. And a good interception, but the most important thing on this interception is not the fact he got it on the 3-yard line, but he was able to bring the ball back and put them in good field position now so that last call did not hurt them. Ball's on about the 37-yard line.
First interception for Langham. And on first down, it's Kevin Turner, the fullback, across the 40 and down at the 42 for a gain of 4.
Most college football coaches, and you talk to them, and sure probably pro football, you feel like you can get your team up about 3 times a year, and then there's times where you have to be able to play. There's Andy Kelly talking with the coordinator upstairs to see what they can go to next time, but Tennessee's been a little flat in this ball game.
Anderson dropped for a loss, back at the 39. Sean Walker made the tackle. Here is Tim Brando.
Sean McDonough.
On third down and nearly 10, it is nearly intercepted. Through the hands of Jeremy Lincoln, Lorenzo Cole was the intended receiver, but he turned the wrong way. And that's another example of the lack of cohesiveness between Hollingsworth and some of these inexperienced receivers.
Well, as they go along, of course, Gary Hollingsworth's a senior, but he's had so many injuries out there. It's just very tough knowing what the receiver is going to do. It's like anything else. You want to be able to work with them so you know what moves they're going to make and where they're going to make their breaks at. You get used to them. He's not used to these receivers.
Williamson just did get it off. Hardy had the pressure. Bounce goes Alabama's way, and the ball is out of bounds at the 22. A sharp contrast between this year's game and last year's. Last year, an offensive battle in Birmingham as the two teams combined for nearly 1,000 yards in total offense. Himself as the #1 quarterback in Tennessee. He's been replaced by Sterling Henton, who completes his first pass to Mark Adams. Henton in relief of Kelly. Sterling's a senior from Passaic, New Jersey.
Mark Adams made a 9-yard catch there and traded it for a headache because George Teague just really leveled him. Again, Johnny Majors is trying to get something started. He's making a quarterback change here right now, just trying to get something going offensively.
Majors offensive coordinator Phil Fulmer says that Henton has given Tennessee a spark off the bench in the past. This time it's Poles for the first down. And again, players tangle as the play ends.
Well, the clock's ticking down to that famous fourth quarter here before long, and Alabama has played very inspired football. Been very impressed with the way they played on defense today. Offensively, Mal Moore mixing up the plays. Gary Hollingsworth playing well, and again, now they're about 1:44 left to go in this quarter, and it's just hold on and play good solid football.
Thompson knocked back by Thornton, but not after a significant gain on first down. Thompson spotted down at the 42. He picked up about 6.
The I formation of fullbacks very important here. You see Roland Poles make the block there, and Tony Thompson follow the block and eventually tackled by Ephraim Thomas. Fullback in the I formation has to be able to block, carry the football, catch it out of the backfield. He has to be able to do everything.
Thompson still well below his average of 101 yards per game. Henton throws too high for the tight end Von Reeves. That's the kind of passes you'll see from Henton. They like to roll him out. He's not particularly tall, and Phil Fulmer, the offensive coordinator, says he throws better on the run.
He's more of a dangerous quarterback when he's outside, and he's also dangerous to run the football. Here you see him coming to his left side. He just didn't get squared up enough and threw the ball high. Again, that crown is so high in the middle when you throw off to the side, sometimes you're going to be a little high on throwing the football.
1:01 left in the third quarter. Alabama leads 6-3. It's been a field goal battle to this point. Movement along the right side of the Tennessee offensive line. Now back the ball's up 5 yards.
One thing about when you're playing for a conference championship, you can't afford a loss, and the pressure mounts, and as this game goes on.
National championship picture. Tennessee trying to stay in that picture perhaps. Henton threw it into the ground. He was pressured. George Thornton knocked him down after he threw it away. And the Tide defense holds again, and Tennessee will be forced to punt.
Sterling Hinton on a drop-back pass. You can see the pressure coming from inside George Thornton and Byron Holbrooks. Tough to throw when the pressure's on you like that.
Joey Chapman. Good kick. Anderson started at his own 13. He's out of bounds at the 17. A good kick and excellent coverage as well by Tennessee. A 50-yard punt and a 4-yard return for Chris Anderson. A reverse. Look for a pass here. It is nearly intercepted. Gene Stallings told us they had a reverse pass in for this football game. He went to it deep in his own end of the field. Lee was hit as he threw it, and it was nearly picked off.
Well, you can't say Gene Stallings is conservative. Here he pitches the ball back to Derek Lassick, and the reverse comes around. Kevin Lee's going to throw the ball, and he gets hit as he throws it, almost intercepted by Kerry Bailey. Here's a second look at the same thing. Almost should have probably took this ball and just tried to run and get whatever he could get. Almost a big play for Tennessee. The Tennessee defense, remember, they've caused a lot of turnovers in the early part of the season. Alabama's not allowed them to give them the football. Tennessee needs to cause a turnover down here.
And Lee, the redshirt freshman from Mobile, is shaken up on the play.
Well, I would think it's his shoulder because as he's got the ball ready to throw, he gets hit. It had to be a shoulder injury, hit by Chris Mims.
It's been an active week for Chris Mims as Lee has helped off the field. He was accused of breaking another student's jaw in a fight last month, but earlier this week, Mims was exonerated by a 6-person student jury. There is still the case of 3 players who've been accused of sexual assault pending. Tennessee football program has had some problems off the field. Johnny Majors is a little bit sensitive to criticism that he is not doing enough to discipline his players. He says this university is indeed doing that.
Johnny Majors is a disciplinarian, and there are some problems, but there's problems all over here. He gave a statistic of somewhere he read where 100% of the crimes are caused by 2% of the people, and same thing with your football team. Sometimes they make mistakes, but you as a coach, you're the father figure on the college campus. You recruited him here, but the point he made was he was concerned about the media trying to be the judge, the juror, and the executioner before you find whether somebody really is guilty. Johnny Majors, as I said before, I've known him for a long time. He's a good football coach. He's a good disciplinarian. He takes a lot of action sometimes that nobody knows about in disciplining players. So, again, he's the kind of coach, and Gene Stallings is the kind of coach you'd like to have your son play for.
In the case of the 3 charged with accused of an alleged sexual assault is still pending, but word over the last 2 days was that the young lady involved in the incident does not plan to file charges, and it is possible that the matter will be a thing of the past and the players will return.
As a coach, you have to wait and you have to take all the information, and that's what he's doing. This is a key 3rd down situation for the Tennessee defense right now.
And it will be the first play of the 4th quarter as time has run out in quarter number 3. Just a field goal for Philip Doyle of Alabama in the 3rd quarter, and after 3, it's the Crimson Tide 6 and the Volunteers 3. 3, the score as we begin the 4th quarter. Alabama has the football, looking at 3rd and 9 from its own 18.
Some type of draw here, maybe a shovel draw.
Hollingsworth under pressure and thrown down back at the 13-yard line. Kerry Bailey made the hit.
Watch the Tennessee defense, number 53 and 74, twist. They're twisting to confuse the blocking assignments. They confused them so much they tried to reach out and grab them, but they were able to put pressure and make the play.
Good punt by Williamson. Carter from his own 41. A return of 4 to the 45. Tennessee goes back on the attack, trailing by 3. Okay. Along the banks of the Tennessee River. And the homestanding Volunteers riding the nation's longest unbeaten streak. 12 games in trouble in the fourth quarter. Henton throws too high. Tried to dump it off for Vince Moore, and it sailed over his head.
Well, they're going to try to get him outside. Andy Kelly, I don't know if he was hurt or they just pulled him.
I think they just pulled him because they wanted a spark from Sterling Henton. The storyline of this football game. Alabama came in nearly a 2-touchdown underdog, and they're leading the battle of field goals. Doyle's 2 for 3. Burke has converted his only chance for Tennessee. Tennessee leading the nation in turnover ratio, but they've handed it over 3 times. Alabama has controlled the time of possession. Henton just 1 for 4 passing. Now 2 of 5. The ball dropped by Reeves, but they'll say he was down at the 50, short of a first down by 5 yards.
Both these teams have storied past and great tradition. Of course, Bear Bryant at Alabama and Bowden Wyatt and Bill Babins, all the good football coaches we've had at Tennessee. These are 2 rich, tradition-rich programs.
They mentioned Tennessee's 12-game unbeaten streak. The last team to beat them, Alabama, last year at Alabama. Quick hitter complete. That is the first completion to a Tennessee wide receiver today. Carl Pickens was on the receiving end, and it's a first down for Tennessee at the 42 of Alabama.
Except for the throw that Andy Kelly threw down the field a little while ago was intercepted. Neither team has tried to throw the ball down the field this week either. Last week we saw the same thing in the Texas-Oklahoma game. These receivers are so talented, you've got to try to get the ball in their hands.
And you saw the graphic. There's 2 losses in the last 24 games for Tennessee. Both have been against Alabama. Clemens McCroskey with his first carry of the day. He's a sophomore from Shelbyville, Tennessee. They think he's going to be an outstanding player. He's been held back by a broken bone in his leg suffered during preseason workouts. Tennessee, 3rd in the nation in scoring offense. Less than 150 yards in total offense today. Henton going for Pickens in the end zone. Incomplete. It was slightly overthrown. Ephraim Thomas had the coverage. Here's Tim Brando.
The Southwest Cup have Jim Brock a little worried down there in the bowl game situation for the Cotton Bowl.
Henton dumps it off for Moore. Flag down on the far side of the field. If the play stands, it's a first down for Tennessee at the 25. Vince Moore, senior from Memphis, with the reception. And the important words will come out of the mouth of Jimmy Harper. Down to the sideline, here's Neal.
To try to get his ball club in for a touchdown or at least a tying field goal.
Tennessee a woeful 2 of 10 on 3rd down. Thornton with the sack. George Thornton threw Henton down back at the 45-yard line.
George Thornton charges in, watch him beat the block of the offensive tackle, and then just brings Sterling Henton down from behind. Remember the thing about Alabama, they could very easily, 8 points separates them from being undefeated right now. They played good football. They've just had some lapses, and it cost them some ball games.
Chapman, a line drive kick. Anderson from the 10. Tackled by Shazan Bradley at the 18. Alabama with the football with a 6-3 lead with 11:42 to play. Never beaten Alabama. The Tide has won 4 in a row against Tennessee. 1st and 10, Alabama. Jones bounces off a tackle and picked up nearly 6 yards on 1st down. He's across the 23.
Ran the toss sweep to the weak side without a tight end. They ran to the split inside, which is the first time they've run it this side the entire game. Yardage has been tough for both teams. Jones, again, is having a good day. Rushing yardage has been tough against both defenses. Alabama needs a long drive to conserve the time and get on and get some points.
Play action screen. Jones has the first down, lost the football. Recovered by Tennessee at the 33-yard line.
By Mal Moore, screen pass to the tailback. And again, what Johnny Majors has done by punting the football and continuing to put him in the hole is look for a turnover from his defense, and he got it.
Sean Walker with the fumble recovery, and the fans groan on the first play of the series as it's a run to Thompson, and he goes nowhere.
On the screen pass, Sean Walker, the middle linebacker, is going to make the play, and he strips the football. Sean Walker recovers it. Darryl Hardy on the strip. Tennessee's in good field position. They've got to try to roll out the quarterback. They're bringing Andy Kelly back in.
Kelly is indeed the quarterback for Tennessee with 10:25 to play. Alabama leads by 3. Kelly down the sideline. He threw it away. Pickens was double covered. Harrison and Teague were right there with him, and Kelly had to look in another direction.
Now they're booing Andy Kelly. He's a guy that's got you undefeated to this point. They don't give up yet. I think Andy Kelly's a good quarterback. I think he's having a rough day. I think Alabama's having a lot to do with that. They disguise coverages. They put a good rush on him. That's a third down situation. I believe he's the quarterback to get him in the end zone. It has to be Andy Kelly. I think it's a good move putting him back in. No back set.
Kelly, man open, incomplete. The ball was a bit behind Carl Pickens, and the sophomore couldn't come up with it. This would be a serious test of Greg Burke's field goal range. It would be about a 51-yard field goal. His career long is 49.
Andy Kelly sets up, moves up because the pocket collapses, throws the ball, should have been caught. A little bit behind Carl Pickens, but still should have been caught. They're going to try to tie it with a long field goal here.
A 51-yarder. Burke has had a disappointing year. This could turn it around for him in a hurry. It's good! Greg Burke with the longest field goal of his career, a 51-yarder, and with 10:05 to play, the game is tied at 6.
It's an excellent kick on the field goal. You saw both coaches for Johnny Majors. It turns out to be a good decision to kick the field goal rather than to punt the football or go for the first down. On the other side, you saw Gene Stallings. He knows now it's a tied-up ball game.
What a relief for Burke. He had a chance to win the Auburn game with a last-second field goal, but missed. He's missed 6 field goals coming into today, but he's 2 for 2 this afternoon, and that one ties it up.
The one thing Johnny Majors said yesterday when we talked to him, you asked him a question, would he go for a tie in a conference game? I got the feeling, even though he didn't answer it, he did not want a tie, and he would go for a win in this particular football game.
Still time for either side to grab a win. Lorenzo Cole. Big hole up the middle. And it closes up at the 25-yard line. Tennessee went in reverse, but they did not take themselves out of field goal range following the fumble recovery by Walker. Burke the 51-yarder, and it's a new game.
Well, the key in the last series was Tennessee caused a turnover. Alabama fumbled the football. They know they've had their problems in this quarter. Now they have to take the football, put a long drive together here, and get some points. And it's up to Gary Hollingsworth. He's a senior. He's a leader. Even though he has a patchwork offensive team around him, he's got to make it happen.
Hollingsworth, incomplete. Thrown in the direction of 2 receivers. The short man was the tight end Buskey, and a bit further downfield was Donnie Finkley.
just overthrew it again. I'm not sure when you're visiting quarterbacks sometimes. Both quarterbacks have had their trouble today, but Gary Hollingsworth is one of his last 5 throwing from the middle of the football field to that crown, the lower right side over here. I look for him to try to get the ball to Lamont Russell, his best receiver.
Hollingsworth will run. Slides down after a gain of 6. Took a hit from Bailey after going into the slide. 3rd and...
But he knows how to step up in the pocket, and he knows when to take off with it. He knows when to get down, not to take the hit. He's done a good job. 96,732 here. And I believe they're all yelling right now.
The second largest crowd in Neyland Stadium history. This is the second largest stadium in college football behind only Michigan. Hollingsworth had to throw it away.
Tell you what happens sometimes when things aren't going well and you get a particular monkey on your back. Sometimes it appears, and right now Alabama in that last drive looked like they lost a little poise. This is still anybody's football game.
6-6 the score with 9:05 remaining. Williamson, short wobbly kick. Carter on the run and down at the 49. Coming up Sunday, October 21st at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time from Suzuka, Japan. It's the Grand Prix of Japan. 2 races remain along the Grand Prix circuit. Ayrton Senna can clinch the championship with 1 victory. And Alain Prost can keep his title with 2 victories. Anything can happen. So watch the Grand Prix of Japan Sunday morning at 8:30 Eastern. Kelly complete to Von Reeves, close to a first down in Alabama territory at the 43. A gain of 8.
Tennessee's opening it up a little bit more with Andy Kelly. As I said earlier, I think Andy Kelly's the guy to lead him in this particular situation. Little 5-step drop. He's going to try to split the linebackers. Watch the tight end get right inside there. Von Reeves, there he is, right in between the linebackers. Catch the football, try to split him and get downfield. Alabama defensively. Mike DuBose, who's the defensive coordinator, has to feel Bill Oliver, who used to be the head coach of Chattanooga, really have done a great job with this defense today. And they have played an outstanding football game.
As has the injured player, John Sullins. He's the son of a coach. His dad, S.E. Sullins, was an assistant coach at Auburn, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. 6-6 the score here. Here's Tim Brando.
Take a look at this, gentlemen. This is why you can't use instant replay. The game's not televised. Iowa State's Chris Peterson gets in with 35 seconds left. Or really, did he really get in? Well, the bottom line is, regardless of the officials' calls, when a game's not televised, there's no conclusive evidence one way or the other. Stop talking about replay. Iowa State wins in an upset over Oklahoma by 2.
It is kind of silly to talk about instant replay in college football when every game is not televised. Amsler on 2nd and short, did not get the first down. They'll spot him down for no gain.
We talked about Tennessee's offensive line at the open of the show, saying that they may be one of the best offensive lines in the country. Alabama's defensive line has owned the line of scrimmage today. Gene Stallings, a lot of things going through his mind right now. Unbalanced line this way.
And the ball's run in this direction. Thompson picked up the first down. Out of bounds at the 39.
What Tennessee does is bring in the second-team quarterback, Sterling Hinton, just to run the option. He came in, pitched the ball out to Tony Thompson, picked up the first down. Now they bring Andy Kelly back in. Again, I think Johnny Majors, as I look down there, has got the headsets on. I'm sure he's playing a big factor in this rolling the quarterbacks right now. Now they're going to play without any backs and throw the football.
Formation they ran from a lot against Florida. Haven't seen it today. Kelly throws it away.
Wise choice. Sometimes when they're covered like that and you don't have a lot of time, throw it away. Get the second down. I know fans boo sometimes, but there's a time and a place to throw it away. That may be one of them. It's an important drive for Tennessee. Alabama's defense looking a little tired right now. Played well, and again, they have to hold up on this particular drive.
When you've had problems regularly in the fourth quarter, as Alabama has, psychologically, does that take a toll?
I don't think there's any doubt. It's got to be in the back of everybody's mind. But their problems are because of lack of depth. The numbers game. In college football is tough to catch up. You only can give 25 scholarships.
There was movement on both sides of the line.
Dead ball, offensive movement, 5 yards, false start.
Left tackle's kind of leaning back a little bit in his stance, Charles McCray. And then Drew, the defensive lineman. Automatically when that happens, you always see, they all point to each other. He did it. No, he did it. And invariably, it's usually called on the offense.
Second and 15. 6-6 the score with 7:40 remaining. Incomplete. Anthony Morgan protests the call. He's ruled out of bounds. Or check that, Alvin Harper ruled out of bounds as he made the catch.
I don't think there's any doubt he was out of bounds on it. It's a long throw when you throw from the right hash all the way across the field. Just got there too late to Alvin Harper. He steps out of bounds. Alvin was from Frostproof, Florida. That's where he played his ball. We recruited him when I was at Pittsburgh, and I remember watching him play basketball. He slam dunked his first 5 shots, and I knew he was going to be a great player.
One of the best high jumpers in the SEC as well. Member of the Tennessee track team. 3rd and 15. Kelly with a long way to run. He won't get the first down. He is back in Greg Burke field goal range, you would think, since the 51-yarder moments ago made it with room to spare. This would be about a 52-yard field goal try.
John is really trying to decide whether he wants to go for this or not. And here comes the field goal team again. This field goal kicker's pumped up now. He made that last one. He knows this may be his day.
This will be a 52-yard try. The 51-yarder moments ago was a career long. This one is just short. Well, maybe 51 yards is his range.
I'll tell you who put a lot of pressure is Mark McMillan, the junior college free safety for Alabama out of Glendale Junior College. He put a lot of pressure on Greg Burke. And a lot of pressure inside. Just a little bit shy.
What a great shot. Our ESPN crew here in Knoxville today. Alabama in a 6-6 game. Anderson in trouble and dropped for a loss. Back to the 34.
Clock now becomes a factor for both teams. For Tennessee, they don't want a tie. Alabama's played well. I'm sure they don't want one either. One of these teams want to win this football game, but the clock now becomes a factor in the SEC race.
Alabama has 2 timeouts remaining. Tennessee has all 3 of its timeouts left. Second and 11. Hollingsworth. Drop. Buskey with the 3rd drop of the day for Alabama.
Gene Stallings is frustrated a little bit. He knows in this first year a lot of things are going to happen like this. Coaching transition year, he's seen a lot of things happen in this first part of this football season. His team has played well. He has to feel very well about the way his team has played.
We've seen him along the sidelines, and Neil Lomax, who played with Stallings, told us before the game he is very much a hands-on coach on the sideline. Gets very actively involved in the play calling. Down goes Hollingsworth. Chris Mims the sack, back inside the 25-yard line.
Alabama has had trouble with the twists of Tennessee when they go into the shotgun. Watch the defensive lineman. Chuck Smith goes inside. 53 comes outside. And the pressure is put on by Jeff Tullis.
Williamson the punt, and the fair catch made by Carter at the 35. Tennessee back on offense in a 6-6 game. A 6-6 tie with 5:24 remaining. Sterling Hinton is back at quarterback, Mike.
Well, they're juggling the quarterbacks. If Sterling Hinton's the quarterback now, I look for the option or some type of rollout from Sterling Hinton.
Foles, the lone back lined up behind Hinton. It is a rollout. He'll run with it. He goes out at the 40, a gain of 5. Along the Alabama sideline, here's Neal.
Guys, I was kind of eavesdropping on Mal Moore, the offensive coordinator. They're going to stick what they're doing, just some play-action passes with Gary. But Gene Stallings kind of mentioned to him, well, if we win this game, we're going to win it with our defense, not lose it by our offense. So they're going to play it pretty conservative. Back upstairs.
Well, I think the way the defense has played, that's the decision he's made. This defense has played well all day. They frustrated 2 quarterbacks for Tennessee.
2nd and 4 for the Vols. 5:17 remaining. Quarterback draw. Hinton. First down in Alabama territory at the 46-yard line. A gain of 14 for Sterling Hinton.
Quarterback draw all the way. Watch him take a step back, and he's going. Both defensive linemen released outside, expecting the play to go outside. Tackle was made by Stacey Harrison. A good call by the Tennessee offensive coordinator and John Majors. They're going to turn it over to Sterling Hinton, running the football right now and trying to break contain on the outside.
Hinton trying to get away from Spencer Hammond. Going deep. Jump ball and broken up. Stacey Harrison knocked it down. Alvin Harper was the Tennessee receiver.
Those are the kind of plays, if you're going to win football games, you have to intercept the football. Hinton is 3 of 8. Early, Alvin Harper is open. He gets behind Gardner, and the ball's just late thrown too high.
And it was Charles Gardner who knocked it down. Harrison also in the neighborhood. If it was a jump ball, had it reached Harper, you have to like his chances. We mentioned earlier, he's one of the top high jumpers in the SEC. Cleared 7 feet, 1/4 inch at the indoor championships this year. Back to the quarterback draw. This time, Hinton was knocked off his feet by John Sullins.
Played it a little better that time, the Alabama defense. Both defensive linemen did not release outside. You watch here now, both of them play it. They come inside and force him outside to the linebacker, John Sullins. Picked up 2 yards, puts him in a 3rd down situation.
3rd and long. 9 yards to go for the Tennessee first down.
They need to throw some kind of crossing route to try to get the tight end or one of the receivers over the middle.
Hinton threw it away. He was being pressured. And he threw it over the head of Greg Amsler.
Well, Neil Lomax is exactly right when he said that Alabama's going to turn over their defense and let them continue to play. They get a good rush on Sterling Hinton, forced a bad throw. Now Johnny Majors on the other sideline saying the same thing. Punt the ball, 4 minutes to go. I'm going to turn it over to my defense.
And it's the quarterback, Kelly, who's in the punt. He has punted once today for 41 yards. That's a shank.
Make it a bounce.
He does. Perhaps too much of a bounce. No. Down at the 1-yard line. Lee Wood down the punt at the 1.
That's why they put the quarterback in the punt in that situation, because usually the punter of record has such a strong leg, he'll kick it out of the end zone. A quarterback like Andy Kelly doesn't punt that often, so he's not going to get a long punt, but usually he'll get the bounce, and that's exactly what happened. Another good coaching call by Johnny Majors to let Andy Kelly kick the ball. Now he's turning over his defense, and now Neil Lomax, I'm not sure that Alabama can turn it back over their defense. They've got to turn it over to Gary Hollingsworth to get him out of this hole.
Alabama has not had a first down since the 5-minute mark of the third quarter. Hollingsworth threw incomplete. Pressured as he threw, and the closest man in the area was Jeremy Lincoln, the defensive back of Tennessee.
Well, what happened in the first half, Alabama was able with Gary Hollingsworth to show action one way and bring him out naked and run the ball a couple times, and he threw a completion. But now the defensive ends, both Chuck Smith and that time Chris Mims, are staying at home and putting pressure and taking that play away from Alabama.
6-6 the score. 3:45 remaining in the fourth quarter. We're at sold-out Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. Sean McDonough with Mike Gottfried and Neil Lomax. And Alabama has decided to use a timeout. The Tide now has one remaining. We'll be right back. A lot of real estate between Alabama and their end zone. 99 yards to go for a winning touchdown. What do they do here?
They've got to throw it out. They've got to be the aggressor on offense because they can't afford to punt the ball and let them get a field goal in a field goal position.
That's an incomplete pass.
A little indecision there by the official.
That's a couple of shaky passes under the shadow of their own goalpost for Alabama and Hollingsworth. He's been pressured twice, running around in his own end zone.
When Alabama goes to the shotgun, Tennessee goes to line twist. And they've given Alabama some problems with their defensive front four. This is the play of the ball game. Gary Hollingsworth has to get a first down on this throw right here. Otherwise, they're faced with punting the football and Tennessee setting up for a winning field goal. They've got to throw to the sticks, a curl route where they get the curl route beyond the sticks.
That's over everything. In the direction of Lorenzo Cole, but he had no chance. 3 incomplete passes and a punt upcoming for Alabama.
Now you got Tennessee, who should probably try to punt return right here to get good field position and milk that clock, either get the touchdown or set the winning field goal up.
Williamson.
Hunter's got to be very careful he doesn't step back.
Good kick. Carter at the 47. Trying to get outside. He was able to turn the corner, and he went out of bounds at the 35-yard line. What a great day of college football it has been already on ESPN. Iowa and Michigan got us started. This has been a more competitive game than most people expected. And coming up next, Florida State and Auburn. The number 7 Seminoles against the number 5 Tigers of Auburn at 7:30 Eastern Time.
Andy Kelly's back in at quarterback, Sean, and I look for him to run the football now a little bit and try to set this field goal up. Alabama has to make something happen on defense.
They're just about in field goal range now. On the ground it goes to Thompson. Greg Burke getting a pep talk from his mates along the Tennessee sideline.
These quarterbacks have been yo-yoed all day here in the second half, but as I said, Andy Kelly in there right now. I think John Majors with 2:56 on the clock is thinking one thing right now: field position and set the field goal up. Let's run the football and run it right at Alabama.
That's what they do. Amsley in the line for a yard to the 31, and that is all. Alabama can only stop the clock on one more occasion. Tennessee has all 3 of its timeouts remaining, and we're down to 2:30 left in the fourth quarter. 6-6 the score.
Looks like Tennessee's going to take a timeout to decide whether they want to put the ball up on this third down.
This is still a long field goal from this point. It would be a 48-yarder.
I think they've got 2 choices here right now. One, try to get some kind of route that's very safe. They've hit the tight end over the middle between the linebackers on key situations. That's number 1. Number 2, a draw, which they've had some success with. Again, Johnny Majors has to feel with the way his defense is playing right now. If he can just tack 3 on here, he can win this football game. I think they'll go to the tight end over the middle in between the linebackers. I'll say that, or the draw play right now. We want to watch the sidelines to make sure that the quarterback's going to be Andy Kelly. If they come in with the other quarterback, Sterling Hinton, they may be thinking option.
Johnny Majors Won't want any ties for Christmas. He already has 2 ties this year, and he's looking at the possibility of a 3rd.
Alabama started with the ball on their 20-yard line most of the day. The average start just half field position. Alabama on the 20, Tennessee in their own 47. Tennessee's had great field position all day, just hadn't taken advantage of it. Credit the Alabama defense. Bringing in Mark Adams, number 83.
And Andy Kelly will be the quarterback on this 3rd down play. 3rd and 6. The Volunteers at the 31 of Alabama with 2:18 left in the 4th quarter and the game tied at 6.
Winners make plays, and right now you need a play. You need it on both sides of the field. Somebody has to come through and make something happen. Andy Kelly on his side, or whoever the person is that receives or runs the football. Alabama, somebody has to come up with a big play defensively. Oh, we've had an exciting game, Sean. This has been exciting college football. We had a great one last week and a great one today.
Johnny Majors and Gene Stallings, each 55 years old. But they have both aged today.
And aging. John Majors is the president of the American Football Coaches Association. Very well respected coach.
The reason for the delay is that they are adding time to the game clock. As you can see, they've added 4 seconds. A moment ago, the clock read 2:18. It's now 2:22. No backs behind Kelly. Screen, Vince Moore. Can't shake the tackle. Ephraim Thomas, a huge defensive play, dropping Moore for a loss. And that's a big play. What would have been a 48-yard field goal is now going to be somewhere in the area of a 50-yard try for Greg Burke.
You talk about a big play now. Alabama's going to remember that play from Ephraim Thomas. He had Vince Moore, 5'10", 203 pounds, a speedster out there on the screen. He made the play. As I said before, winners have to make the play. Now they're turning it over to Greg Burke on the field goal attempt. Watch the rush up inside.
A 50-yard attempt to give Tennessee the lead. It is blocked.
I just said the rush was going to come up inside. Alabama collapsed the inside. We said last week, when you take the key away from the kicker, which the rule stated this year, everybody changed their rush so that you rush inside so you can get the ball before it elevates. Watch Alabama all get their hands up and jump up and get their hands on it. Came from inside the tackle. Looks like number 1, Stacey Harrison, made the block from the left inside.